Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Gosh, I'm amazing. How are you?
Good. It's really nice to see you.
I know it's been so long. It truly
Oh,
has been.
I know, right?
How long has it been, actually?
Well, since I've seen you in person, I would say probably over 12 years, maybe a little bit more.
Wow, hey.
Yes, it's been a long time, and some I've heard the term gayas ago,
Yeah. Gaias. Like
gayas.
that. Yeah. Totally. It's been many, many moons. And honestly, I'm sad that it's been that long because you were such a big sort of instrumental, pun intended, start to my journey into entertainment and into being a performer. I remember a lot of good memories at Prince Charles and being able to really how do I say it? Like sort of come into my creativity, I guess, or feel like not only did I have a stage to perform, but that people actually cared and were like listening and were creating space for that because I totally remember being able to do my own little show within the Christmas concert. I was like one of the only people who got their own like block of time.
Well, you know what? I was going to talk about that today. So I remember when I was teaching music at Prince Charles in Edmonton, I would have these little shows where sometimes it was teacher talent show where all the staff would perform together and do different things. And then I had student talent shows and I would open it up and nobody would enter except you. So but we brought you into the Christmas concert and you did this amazing dance. I was
So
so proud to have somebody, one student at least, and you were so brave. It was so great.
I don't know where I got it from, honestly. I think maybe from just being a jigger and being in front of people all the time and performing that way. But let me tell you, jigging in a square dancing group for like a bunch of people with a whole group of like eight of us is much different than going up in front of your entire school as a 9 year old and like performing like CCR and Tina Turner and like all of these old school like performances. And I remember I used to have like a little blazer and I had my little gloves on and I did like a whole thing. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I really wanted to
but
appeal to the older crowds, I feel like.
well, I mean that I think that had to do with the instructors being older and probably liking older music. I
I
mean,
remember
not me.
not you, of course. I remember Proud
No.
Mary being one of my go-tos.
Well, the great thing was that Prince Charles had such an amazing music program. They had fiddling and jigging, and we had choir, and for a little while we had the Orff group playing the xylophones, and we had the recorders, and so there was a lot of music programming happening throughout the years that I was there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's honestly amazing to hear because music is, as you know, you know this very well, music is very, very healing, and there's so many benefits to having music in your life. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about MusiCounts and this amazing initiative that's being started. Why don't you, for those people who don't really know, I don't really even know all that much about it either. I'd love to hear a little bit about it.
Well, Music Counts is this Canadian amazing education charity that it's actually associated with the CARIS, which is the Canadian Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, and the Juno Awards. And their program helps to make music education accessible and for youth across Canada, and because they provide music instruments, equipment, and resources to schools through their Band-Aid grant program, which is also supported by APTN, because APTN has given $75,000 of financial support to their Band-Aid program, and which has resulted in 15 schools being funded for however any kind of instruments they want to use to enhance or build their music program in as far as some very rural areas, reserves, and even Prince Charles. Prince Charles got a grant in 2015 for $10,000. So that probably helped to get more fiddles, some more guitars, possibly some traditional instruments for the program. So but MusiCounts is definitely more than that. They have their learning program, which also helps with, which actually gets, well, I'll talk about that a little bit more in detail in a minute. So I guess that's kind of what MusiCounts is, the program itself.
Awesome. Like, seriously, that is so amazing because, as you know, it's really difficult, I think, for a lot of people to access music and also to have the resources to be able to do it. And because of that, it seems like there isn't as much of a push or as many opportunities, I would say, for young people and specifically Indigenous people as well to create careers that are long term, that are sustainable as a living. And that's really truly such a shame in our communities, is that so many of our artists who have so much potential end up not being able to fully actualize that dream for themselves because they're so caught up in making sure that they have careers that allow them to make enough money to survive or to support their family. And so being able to create those opportunities and really turn those sort of like dreams into actual goals that are achievable and attainable by eliminating all of these barriers to success, like creating that financial funding to be able to get fiddles and to get instruments and to hire people to be able to come in and to teach and to really show that there is not only a need for music, but that there's support for it as well. And that definitely made a big world of difference for me, specifically going through a music program with you and learning. I remember you would teach us a lot of traditional languages. I remember you taught us a song in Cree about Sakituin, about love, and teaching us what that meant, and all of the different really cool sort of musical theory things that we did with it. But at the end of the day, we were singing with drums, and we were singing together in unison. You taught us what unison was, and being able to do all of those sorts of things as a community, and realizing how healing that is. But that probably would not have been made possible without some awesome initiatives like MusiCounts, for example. I have a question. So what are your sort of favorite artists?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. Maybe I'll start from the I guess the ones who paved the way. We have Buffy St. Marie, of course, Susan Eglukark, and they were the ones when I was in my early 20s. They were the ones who I started to see out on the scene, and this kind of country rock band Seaweed, from Winnipeg. They were also there out in the scene. But also right now, I mean, in the past long while, and currently there's just some fantastic artists out there. I'm a little partial to Alberta, so there's Fawn Wood, and her and Tia as well. And they're from Saddle Lake, Cree Nation. Tanya Tagak. Leela Gilday, Digging Roots. I really like their music. Um, Eagle and Hawk, a rock band with the late Vince Fontaine passing away earlier this year. Pixic, they're out of Nunavut, and Isquay from Ontario. There,
Right.
she's fantastic. And of course, I'm a little partial to Jeremy Dutcher, Snotty Nose Res Kids, and Scylla and Rise because they're part of the resource as well. So I got to really dig into the music and analyze it and listen and really appreciate them for their artistry and what they stand for and the issues that impact them is infused and throughout their music. You know, whether it's um, land rights or missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and taking care of the land and natural environment. There's so many amazing issues that they weave into their songwriting, and really um, has made an impact not only in the Indigenous music scene, but also into the Western scene as well on a national and international level. You know, really brought our people into the light as reputable and worthy artists to be side by side in the music industry. And
Mm.
who are yours?
Well, I really love the Asani singers. I think they're amazing. um, but I'm partial to them. I don't know. Um, but I did actually get the absolute privilege of seeing you perform live a couple of times, so I'm very, very happy about that. But aside from that, in terms of Indigenous artists, one of my really good friends, Nia, who's from the Muskegwissik First Nation or Enoch Cree Nation, is a recording artist who has an album out on Spotify right now. Nia is also managed by the same management company as me and is absolutely incredible. Her voice is amazing, and her music is the reason I love it so much is because it sort of goes against what I think a lot of people are expecting of a young Indigenous woman to sing about. She kind of isn't singing about what Fawn Wood and Tia Wood are singing about. She's singing about sex, and she's singing about her body, and she's singing about having fun and taking back her rights to do and say what she wants and wear what she wants. And it's really dark a lot of the times too, some of her music. And I love that because it's it's also allowing Indigenous young people to reclaim narratives about themselves and about us also. And I love when people push boundaries, and I love when people break molds. And I think that's what Nia is doing in her music, and she's been performing all across North America and is just absolutely amazing. Also, I really love Nimkish. If you don't know who Nimkish is, she's also a really amazing artist. Just incredible. Also, Prado Monroe. Prado is a two-spirit Afro-Indigenous rapper from I think they're from Winnipeg, but they're making the move to Toronto, so they're somebody to look out for. TikTok just hired them last year for their Indigenous Creative Circle to do a performance, and they performed an amazing song with like choreo and like these really fast rapping beats, and like this stuff sounds like you could hear it on the radio tomorrow and it would be a number one. Like it's really high quality produced music, and these are all youth under the age of 25, and so it's really promising. And then obviously signing those res kids and DJ Cookham and all of these people
Yes,
who are
yes.
good friends of mine. Kwana Style, who's an amazing trans artist as well. um, there are so many young Indigenous artists who are paving their own ways into different genres of music, and recognizing that although it is beautiful and so important to have people like Fawn Wood and Tia Wood who do traditional and contemporary music, that we also fill up spaces in rap and in R&B and in jazz and in classical and all of these other
Yeah.
types of music styles. And so I had another question for you. Now that we know some of these great artists, what why do you think that it is so important for initiatives like MusiCounts or anybody else who's involved in music to support and uplift Indigenous artists?
Well, it's been long overdue that Indigenous artists historically have been suppressed. Our voices have been silenced through policies, through um, you know residential schools for sure, and but there's also a stereotype or maybe a misconception of what Indigenous music is. I think there's still a lot of people today who think Indigenous music is just powwows and drums and flutes, and but but that is there are still amazing artists that still use those instruments to practice their art. But yes, you're right. There's so many Indigenous artists who cross genres and are almost undefinable. Like when you start to say that someone is just a jazz artist, or when they're categorized into just rap, but those are labels. But I think our music is even more than that, because we bring our sometimes our language, our history, our people, our voice, our stories into our music, and I think that's what makes it a little bit more unique, and from the heart, from the land, from our people, from you know how our people have been oppressed, and now we're rising up, and there's room, and there's a lot of amazing support, by so many grad programs like MusiCounts, and I think that's incredibly important to showcase it, because it's about damn time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And now more than ever, because I think of shows like Rutherford Falls and of Res Dogs and all of these different new wave, huge productions that are really putting Indigenous people on the map for being creative and being talented and having great voices and being comedians and writers and actors and all these other great things. We're starting to get a lot of Indigenous musicians and artists being able to be showcased as well in those productions. And so now more than ever, I feel like there's this massive hunger for that Indigenous touch, that Indigenous, that like kind of deadliness, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely a lot more opportunities out there. I've noticed as an actor and a TV host myself, I've recognized more and more things are coming into my sphere of possibility because of opportunities like that, and because of things like MusiCounts. And so I know that you and I could be talking about this forever, and I do wish that I could talk to you forever about this because you're so passionate about it. But sort of one last question to close it off: how do people how would people get involved with MusiCounts if that's something that they were interested in?
Well, like Prince Charles, and when you apply for a, a a grant, you can apply for a grant, but you can also access. Sorry, let me go back. The grant is helps to support and the purchase of instruments, as I was mentioning before, and but there's a lot of resources, like amazing resources that they have on the MusiCounts Learn site. So um, I'm just reading a few. There's amazing resource called Hip Hop and Social Justice in Canada, Big Hard Journey. There's the Kanata resource. I do want to come back to that for a minute. Canadian Music Playlist Challenge. And there's blog post town halls that I was a part of as well, where they bring music educators together to talk about different topics. But the Kanata resource, I'm a little partial to that because I was the creator of that resource. I saw my niece in there. Hello, it is. I'm your Auntie Cheryl. And so Kanata is it's called Kanata Contemporary Indigenous Artists and Their Music, and featuring those three artists, Jeremy Dutcher, who is in Edmonton right now for the Edmonton Folk Fest, um, Snotty Nose Res Kids, Scylla and Rise, three amazing groups and musicians. And this program, the resource is a secondary resource for teachers of grades 7 to 12 music nationally, and it's free, it's downloadable, and there are supplementary videos that where you'll hear me speak as well, introduce the resource, but also videos from the artists themselves. And there's two parts of it. One is kind of a historical background of the evolution of Indigenous music, but then there's lots of activities, lesson plans, and things about to really dig into each of the artists' music. Um, and and did I mention it's free and downloadable? But I wanted to definitely share about the amazing program of MusiCounts, and I would not be a part of it if I did not believe on the benefits of it, of the program that has on not only Indigenous students and teachers, but also all um, students and teachers across Canada to really learn about who we are and to celebrate who we are as people, and that we're still here, we're still thriving, and we can make beautiful music.
Absolutely. You totally said it all. Hit the nail on the head. Hit the treble on the clef. Totally. Oh my gosh.
Oh, sorry, one last thing. So I'm going to be creating another part of it, in bringing in the duo Twin Flames from Ottawa. If you've never heard Twin Flames, they're amazing. So I'm going to be creating a more lesson plans for elementary. So check that out. I'm so proud of you. I have to say, we've crossed paths. You were in Victoria, and then I was there 2 days ago for the same event. I was singing there, you were hosting. We've always seemed to kind of, pass like two ships
I know.
sailing.
Yeah, I was so sad about that. I wasn't totally aware that I did a keynote there for the conference, and I wasn't actually aware that I was gonna do that until like less than a week before it happened. And my schedule is really volatile that way, where a lot of I'm scheduled for a lot of events, and then some of them don't happen for whatever reason, whether it's COVID or whatever it is, and then some things just randomly pop up and the turnaround is so quick and I get pulled into it somehow, and then I hardly know where I'm going to be next, and so it's really hard for me to make plans with anybody. But I was really proud of you, and then yeah, to find out that you weren't going to be there at the same time as me, I was like, oh. But hopefully we'll be at the same thing sometime soon. I don't know what it's going to be, but in this kind of world that we live in, there's a lot of really cool events happening, and I'm not like super involved with music, not anymore at least. I used to be in band. I used to be a huge band geek, and to the point
I
where
remember you in band.
yeah, I was in band for 5 years, and I played the baritone saxophone, and we performed at like Kiwanis Festival for a few years, and then we also won a competition. We played Pirates of the Caribbean, and we won a Disney competition, and were flown out to Disneyland to perform in the parade. And we also, this is crazy, we were allowed to go backstage into the special recording studios where the orchestra creates the scores for each film. And we did Lilo and Stitch. We did a medley of Lilo and Stitch and got to watch the movie back with our own band playing the score.
Oh
Isn't
my
that
gosh.
crazy? And it's so funny too, because you could hear all the like notes that are off, and all the like the squeaking and the honking, and like everyone was nervous and playing the wrong notes and forgetting like what time we're in, and it was wild. So we like won the competition and then went in and like totally just screwed up everything because we were so nervous. But I learned so much from being in band and being a part of jazz band and honor band and tour band and all the other, you know, band groups, extracurriculars. And band and music took me literally it took me around the world, and it really gave me an appreciation for artistry, and not only just for like singing and things like that, but also for all the stuff that happens behind learning about rhythm and learning about tempo and learning about um, even music theory and training my ear and doing minor and major and like figuring out how to identify notes that way. It's a lot. And for the young people who are able to do it so well naturally, and also for those that maybe don't do it as naturally, but who work on it as a skill and practice it every day as a skill, because it is a skill, it's just incredibly impressive. And so um, I'm hoping sometime in my life, in the next little bit, that I get to help to support young people who are musicians or who music is a passion for, and really like feed that flame inside of them that makes them love music, because it saved my life, and that's not even a stretch to say. Music really did save a big part of me and kept me out of really dangerous situations a lot of the time. And hearing the and as Indigenous people, I grew up, you know, in ceremony, hearing music always, music everywhere at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Every ceremony we had was opened and closed with song, and so
Yeah.
I cannot I cannot separate my identity as both a Nakota person, um, without acknowledging the presence of music and in every aspect of that and who I am. And so we are music people. We totally are.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you that you've not only taken music and made it this big beautiful career that you have, but also that you're now taking it upon yourself to spread that music into the lives of so many young people. And you've been doing it for so long and you do it so well. So I really want to
Thank
say
you.
Ishnish, and not only am I a product of that, and I can attest to it personally,
At
but
Prince Charles.
at Prince Charles, totally, for many years. And I'm really happy that you're still doing it. It really gives me a lot of warm feelings and a lot of like, man, like you really are doing your dream. You're really chasing that passion, and you live it and you practice it every day. So huge Ishnish Hai Hai. Thank you so much for all that you do. And I'm so glad that I was able to come and talk a little bit about MusiCounts. Hopefully everyone goes and checks out the program and how they can get involved. And hopefully in the future, you and I have our paths cross way more often and we get to do a lot more of this stuff. But for the time that we've been given now, I am so grateful for it. So thank you, Ishnish, Cheryl, or sorry, Miss Sewepagaham, for all of the all of the beautiful words and the wisdom.
And thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule. And again, I just have to, on behalf of Music Counts and also behalf of me as your former elementary music teacher, I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait to see how the path your career takes you, and how you bring your history and our people and voice into your work. And that's so incredibly important. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Ishnish, hi, hi. We'll make sure that we stay connected, all right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Thanks
bye
for everyone for
everyone.
joining in. Bye bye.